Can you hear that? The fans working back there? That's telling you one thing. We're in Texas, it's September, it is like soup out here, and like a moron, I wore a black shirt. But we have the 2017 Porsche Cayman S. So while we're working on a full first drive review, you and I should do a quick tech review. And let me tell you, there's a lot to go over. So let's start where we always start. The engine. So, that engine. I wish I could show it to you, but it's like hidden somewhere in here. So let's just step back and take in the stunning paint. Now, if someone told me even a year ago that I would be strangely aroused by a lava orange car, I would say they are nuts, but Santa Maria Madre de Dios. Anyway, the engine. So I think even my 98-year-old grandmother knows that the Cayman and the Boxster are now fitted with a flat 4-cylinder engine and a single turbocharger. But we need to look at this a couple of different ways from the Cayman S, which this is, as well as the base Cayman. And we need to connect them to the 991.2, which we looked at back in April, because let's just say the Porsche engineers have pilfered a lot of technology and actually just whole parts and hid them somewhere underneath here. So let's start with the basic car. That is a 2-liter flat 4-cylinder engine with a single turbocharger. That puts out 300 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Now here's the interesting thing. Have you ever driven a Subaru? You really need to put your foot into those things to get power out of them, because the way the torque curve works is there isn't a torque curve. It's just like it's an on switch, just it's like up here, and then all of a sudden power happens. Well, the Porsche engineers, let's just say they don't want their car to be associated with a Subaru, so they did some magic with parts and programming, and that 280 pound-feet of torque comes in at 1950 RPM, stays flat all the way to 4500 RPM. Now let's put aside the base car because we have a lava orange Cayman S. This is 2.5 liters, and it's mainly accomplished through an increase in the bore, and that's 350 horsepower, but more interesting to us, 309 pound-feet of torque, but the same trick applies. What they've done here is actually lowered 1900 RPM, flat all the way up to 4,500 RPM. Now those are the bullets and numbers, but you know me, I geek out about this stuff, and the Porsche people, they brought over an engine guy, and you know I cornered this guy, and we just went through everything, and it's a little mind-boggling some of the stuff that he did here. You should probably get out a notebook to cover this. So remember we talked about the 991.2, huge change. They basically made the engine smaller, put 2 turbos on it, and really, if I'm honest, that is to get around tax schemes around the world, but also bring up the horsepower and bring up the torque. That's kind of, you can't do both, but the guys in Weissach, they seem to figure this out. And they did this a couple of different ways. Like, for example, the turbocharger. It wasn't exactly pilfered from the 991.2, but what the engineers did is take the architecture from the 991.2. So this is the Cayman S. So the turbocharger on this one is a bit different than the one on the regular Cayman, in that the impellers, they're actually adjustable vanes, so that you can adjust the power from the turbo based on the load from your foot. Then putting that aside, another interesting little trick they did here was the dry sump lubrication system. It's an integrated system. Now, like in the 991.2, they made it more simple to manufacture. So here, it's gone from 20 parts down to 6. Then there's another neat little trick they did to get more power. So the previous Cayman, it actually did have variable lift, variable cams, but that was only for the intake. But now it's also for the exhaust. Now, putting aside all of that like wizardry stuff, what are like the basic numbers in terms of the boost? In the base car, it's 19 PSI, but in this car, it's actually down to 16 PSI. Now, we need to press on to more of the driving dynamics pieces, because there are a couple of changes there. Now, in this region of the Cayman world, it's actually very familiar. So that's to say a McPherson type setup here and also back here. But what's always been interesting about these cars to me is you can practically custom build them for whatever application you are doing with them. Like, for example, this specific Cayman S here is fitted with PASM, it's fitted with a further sport suspension, and it's fitted with sport chrono. So that's to say it's adjustable dampers, but a further tune to those adjustable dampers. And that brings up really the first change. Now this one, as differentiated from a base Cayman, sits 20 mils lower. But interesting, on the base Cayman side, let's say you were to fit that with PASM, it'd be only 10 mils lower. Then let's put aside the actual suspension, the brakes. This is another interesting set of math here. And like with the powertrain engineer, a suspension engineer was flown over as well, and I cornered him too, and we talked about brakes. And it turns out whether you do a Cayman S or a Cayman, you get any set of brakes you want as long as it's 11.8 here and 13-inch diameter rotors here. The only thing that changes when you move to a car like this, the Cayman S, is the front caliper, and that is what they pilfer from the 991.2. So it's a 4-piston caliper that's aluminum. Then we need to put aside all of this stuff, and really, I think we should look at the inside. So full disclosure here, two things. Number one, it's really tight in there, and number two, it is brutally hot out here. So let's put a pin in this and let's look at the interior of the 718 Boxster, because we're doing a tech review on that as well. And that is a folding top, which will make this whole exercise significantly easier. So in summary, what do we got? Well, an incredibly important change here. This is like a pivotal moment in history, as important as the move from normally aspirated to turbocharging in the 991. I would argue probably even more important because you're lopping off 2 cylinders here. Needless to say, I am incredibly excited to drive this with you, so make sure you come back for the full first drive review. But now I want to turn this around to you guys and leave you guys with a rather important question. And this is not just to people who own 981 Boxsters and older or Caymans. This is to anybody who's had experience with a vehicle like this. Frankly, is the lopping off of 2 cylinders a big deal to you? Like, would it keep you away because of just the theory of losing those 2 cylinders? And granted, you and I are going to unpack whether it works, and we have 2 very important questions we need to unpack. Number one, does it deliver power like a Porsche? And number 2, does it sound like a Porsche? We did this with a 991.2 and it passed with flying colors, but this is a bigger surgery because we're losing 2 whole cylinders, but yes, we're gaining a turbocharger. So my question to you is very specific. Are you good with 4 cylinders, or is this heresy? And don't just tell me good or heresy, I want you to let me know why. And most importantly, I really want to hear from you Porsche folks. And you don't have to be Boxster or Cayman people. I'd love to hear from 911 people as well. Let me know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with 2 things. Number one, make sure you download our fancy new mobile application, which you can download for free from Apple iTunes and Google Play. And oh, by the way, we are live on 5, count them, 5 airlines: Emirates, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin America, Virgin Australia, and coming soon, American Airlines. And number 2, a fun fact, and actually this one I'm really excited about. So this trip wasn't just about driving this car and going to the Salt Lick barbecue. This actually was to come out for an endurance race. We went to the World Endurance Championship and we watched the LMP1 cars, which of course Porsche campaigns in. And it was a riveting experience. I had never been to one of these races before. And I want to say about halfway through, this is a 6-hour race, about halfway through, we were down. Like, Porsche was like number 3 and 7, and then about 9:15 at night, so more than halfway through, They moved to position 1 and 5, and then about an hour to go, 1 and 4. So huge congratulations to Mark Webber and the whole Porsche LMP1 team. It was an incredible experience, and like now I'm kind of addicted, and I think I really need to go to Le Mans. So send money because it's expensive. Until I see you for the full first drive review of the 982 Cayman S in lava orange. Bis später.